Welcome to the AI with Arun Show. Before we get started, request you to consider becoming a member. You will see the link in the video description below. So, Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, dropped $2.56 billion to acquire an AI startup called Manus. Now why should you care? Because this isn't just another tech merger. This deal signals the end of the chatbot era, where we just talk to AI, and the beginning of the agent era, where AI actually does the work for us. Manus is a company that went from $0 to $100 million in revenue in less than 9 months. That is absolutely unheard of. Today we are going to tear down this deal, explain the wild technology behind Manus, and show you why Mark Zuckerberg just paid a premium to give his AI a pair of hands. To understand this purchase, we have to look at the problem Meta was facing. For the last 3 years, we've been impressed by large language models like ChatGPT and Meta's own Llama. These are amazing brains. They can think, write poetry, and answer questions. But there was a massive gap. These brains had no hands. They were passive. You could ask an AI for a recipe, but it couldn't check your smart fridge, buy the missing eggs, and schedule the delivery. That is the difference between a thinking model and a doing agent. Meta had world-class brains, but they were stuck inside a chat box. They needed an execution layer software that can browse the web, open files, and finish a task. That is exactly what Manus is. It's the hands that Meta was missing. So where did Manus come from? It was built by a serial entrepreneur named Xiao, also known as Red Xiao. Red Xiao is famous for a philosophy called kitbashing. In the model-making world, kitbashing means taking parts from different model kits to build something totally new. He did this with software, previously building huge productivity tools on top of WeChat. He applied that same mindset to AI. Instead of spending years training a new brain from scratch, Manus built a system that coordinates other powerful models to get work done. This allowed them to move at lightning speed, processing over 147 trillion tokens and creating 80 million virtual computers, while competitors were still drawing up plans. Okay, let's get technical, but I promise to keep it simple. This is the secret sauce. How does Manus actually do work? Unlike a normal chatbot that just predicts the next word, every time you start a session with Manus, it spins up a dedicated virtual machine, VM, in the cloud. Think of this as giving the AI its own personal laptop that exists only for you. Inside this sandbox, the AI can do things that would normally be dangerous. It can write code, run that code, see if it crashes, fix the error, and run it again. It can unzip files and install software. This loop of trial and error is what makes it an agent, not just a chatbot. It behaves like a human developer solving a problem. The other big breakthrough is how Manus handles memory. We've all had that moment where a chatbot forgets what we said 10 minutes ago. Manus solves this with something called context engineering. Instead of trying to keep every single word in its active brain, the agent is taught to offload information to files, essentially writing things down in a notebook to check later. They also use a technique called recitation. Because complex tasks can take 50 or 60 steps, the AI can get lost. To fix this, Manus forces the agent to constantly rewrite a to-do list file at the end of its thought process. This keeps the AI laser-focused on the goal, so it doesn't hallucinate or wander off. But here is the catch, and it's a $2 billion irony. Remember how I said Manus kitbashed existing tech? Well, Manus currently relies heavily on Meta's biggest rivals. It uses Google's model, hilariously named Nano Banana Pro for visuals, and Anthropic's Claude for reasoning. This means that right now, every time a Manus user generates a slide deck, Meta is technically paying Google for the privilege. Meta's plan is to perform a brain transplant. They want to rip out Google and Anthropic and replace them with their own models, Llama 4 and internal projects named Avocado and Mango. If that transplant fails, the product breaks. This deal also tells us a fascinating story about global politics. We call it the Singapore wash. Manus started in Beijing, but to sell to a US company like Meta, they had to move their headquarters to Singapore to navigate the AI Cold War between the US and China. To get this deal approved by US regulators, they had to do a Washington cleanup. This meant severing all ties with China and actually shutting down their Chinese operations entirely. It proves that Singapore has become the neutral bridge, the Switzerland, for transferring Chinese tech talent into Western markets. Let's talk money. Meta is an ad company. You are the product, but Manus proves something different. People will pay for work. Manus hit $100 million in recurring revenue, almost entirely through subscriptions. It turns out, while you won't pay $20 a month for a chatbot friend, you will pay $20 a month for a digital employee who can scan resumes or analyze spreadsheets for you. This validates Meta's new strategy, Meta AI Plus. They are moving toward a premium subscription tier, diversifying away from just selling your attention to advertisers. Of course, it's not all good news. There is a massive trust gap here. For an AI agent to be useful, it needs the keys to your kingdom. It needs to read your emails, access your Google Drive, and see your calendar. When Manus was a small startup, early adopters accepted that risk. But now that it's owned by Meta, the reaction has been mixed. On Reddit, users are already talking about the sound of Manus being uninstalled. The fear is real. If this agent is reading my bank statements to help me budget, is that data going to be used to target me with credit card ads on Instagram? Meta has a steep hill to climb to prove our privacy is safe. So what does this look like for you in a year? Imagine WhatsApp, but turbocharged. Meta plans to integrate this tech into WhatsApp Business and Instagram. Picture a local bakery. Instead of the owner staying up all night replying to messages, a Manus agent sits inside WhatsApp. It takes cake orders, checks the inventory list, books the delivery driver, and sends the invoice, all autonomously. This transforms Meta's apps from social networks into business operating systems. It's like giving every small business owner a free administrative assistant. Make no mistake, this was a defensive move. The agent wars are heating up. OpenAI has launched Operator. Google is integrating agents deep into Google Docs and Gmail. Meta was actually dead last in this specific race. They had the models, but not the agent workflow. By buying Manus, analysts say Meta leapfrogged 12 to 18 months of development. They bought their way from last place to a top contender, ensuring that Apple or Amazon didn't snatch up this technology first. To wrap this up, Meta's $2.56 billion bet confirms one thing. The future of AI isn't about chatting. It's about execution. Meta has bought a Ferrari, but now they have to change the engine while driving 100 miles per hour. They need to swap out the Google brains for Llama brains without crashing the car, all while convincing us to trust them with our private data. If they pull this off, Meta becomes the world's largest provider of digital labor. If they fail, it's another expensive experiment. But judging by the 147 trillion tokens Manus has already processed, the demand for help is definitely there. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments, would you trust a Meta AI agent to manage your emails? Like, share, and subscribe, and see you next time.